All right, hi guys, I'm back with another video and I haven't taken a look at the long-term outlook for a while, so that's what I'm going to do in this video. Now, before I get into that though, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, I'd love for you to do that. You can click on the subscribe button right down there at the bottom right of your screen. And also, if you haven't joined my pro site, I would love for you to do that. On there, you'll get a lot of extra information regarding the weather of the Ohio Valley. And you can join there at www.patreon.com/Ohio Valley Weather. All right, well, I haven't shown you this graphic for a while, and this graphic is based on the CFS model, and this is showing the current snow depth as of today for the Northern Hemisphere. And as you can see, much of the Northern Hemisphere is now covered by snow. We have significant snow cover all across Russia and in through most of Europe. Most of Europe is now covered in snow. And as you can see, we have Alaska, Canada, Greenland, all covered in snow. And you can see that the snow cover is now coming down into the lower 48 states. So in other words, we've got a lot of snow out there right now. There's an old saying that says snow breeds snow. And that saying is true because what it does is the snow reinforces the cold. Snow, because of its white color, has a very high albedo, and so it reflects radiation back into space. And so the more snow you get, the more that reinforces that the temperatures are just going to stay cold. And so based on the snowpack that we have already for just the middle of November, we have significant snow, and this is just another indication that this is going to be a long, hard winter. Now, another thing we haven't looked at in a while is the ENSO, or El Nino Southern Oscillation. Remember, this is a measure of the water temperatures of the Pacific Ocean. And as you can see, as of today, we're looking at a negative 1.007 degrees, which puts us right on that line of what would make this a moderate La Nina. For quite a while, the La Nina was weak, but now we're kind of into that territory where it would be considered more moderate. So I know a lot of people have been talking about the La Nina weakening, but that just has not happened yet. La Nina is still strong, and it looks like it's going to be here to stay for quite a while. And of course, La Nina is going to have a big effect on our weather throughout this winter. Speaking of that, you can see it right here on this map. This blue area, that is the La Nina. That's showing the colder than normal temperatures. And up above this, you can see we have some red where it's warmer than normal. Up here, we measure what's called the PDO, or Pacific Decadal Oscillation. And this is kind of an unusual setup to have this big of a temperature differential across the Pacific Ocean. And so what this is going to do is, because of the La Nina, we have a high pressure right in this area. And that high pressure is going to bring a ridge of high pressure over the western United States, and that's going to bring this warm, moist air into the Pacific South or Pacific Northwest, where I'm expecting a lot of rain this winter because it's going to be fairly warm. But all of that moisture then will come across the United States as snow. And so this is one reason why I believe we're going to see a snowier winter than normal. Speaking of that, this is the current polar jet stream pattern. This is showing the winds aloft and at 500 millibars. So this is the upper level winds. And you can see there's exactly what I'm talking about. We get this big ridge over the Pacific Ocean up into Alaska and over the western United States, which gives us a trough over the eastern United States. And that trough means that cold air, cold Arctic air, is being pulled down into the Ohio Valley and the eastern United States. And speaking of that, one way that we can measure that is by looking at the Arctic Oscillation, or the AO. So remember, the Arctic Oscillation is a measure of the strength of the polar vortex. When the AO is positive, that means that the polar vortex is strong, and that means that it will keep that Arctic air up in the Arctic Circle where it belongs. But when the AO goes negative, that's a sign of a weakening polar vortex, which then allows the Arctic air to drop down into the lower latitudes. And as we've been seeing for some time, and it even is continuing now, you can see that throughout this winter, we are seeing a forecast that the AO is going to be negative. Look at that, it goes all the way out to the middle of February, where we're seeing primarily a negative AO. And so again, this is just another indication that we're going to see frequent intrusions of Arctic air into the lower 48 states, which of course would include the Ohio Valley. Now, here's something that's been looking a little different. When I made my first video, I said that I expected we were going to see a persistently positive PNA. Now, remember, when the PNA is positive, that means that you see warmer than normal temperatures in the western United States, which normally forces colder than normal temperatures into the eastern United States. But as you can see from this map, and I've been seeing this for several days now, it's looking like we may see a PNA pattern that is more neutral than either positive or negative. And when we see a negative AO with a neutral PNA, this often means that the entire United States is just looking at being colder than normal. That negative AO is just going to force that cold air down into the south. And without a PNA either way, it's just going to make everyone feel those cold temperatures. And speaking of that, look at this. This is the temperature anomaly map for today based on the CFS model, and it's showing exactly what I was just talking about. We have this negative AO with a neutral PNA, and look what we've got. Cold everywhere, pretty much for everybody. You know, we're talking at least 5 to 10 degrees colder for the Ohio Valley, and even colder for the central United States right now. This is the type of pattern that I'm expecting that we'll see persist throughout this winter, with just these colder than normal temperatures hanging around for long periods of time. Now, that doesn't mean we won't have warm-ups. There could be brief warm-ups where we'll see the temperature climb a little bit. But I think what we're seeing right here is what we're going to keep coming back to frequently, over and over, just seeing these pushes of cold air coming into the lower 48 states. And again, I'm just showing this one more time to remind you, this looks like this could continue all the way out into February. And so this is looking to be a very cold winter. Now, does that mean snow? Well, typically right where that northern polar jet stream and the southern polar jet stream come together, that's where we can expect to see snow. And a lot of you, if you've been watching my videos, you know that I've been saying that we are ripe for a snow event next week during the week of Thanksgiving. Well, and here again, this is on today's run of the CFS model. We can see this low pressure. This would be basically an Alberta clipper coming across the Great Lakes, and this would bring snow down into the Ohio Valley. This would be for late Friday into Saturday of next week. So not exactly Thanksgiving Day, but still during that week of Thanksgiving, which I've been predicting for some time now. So anyway, again, I hope you liked the video. If you haven't subscribed, click the button down there at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. And if you haven't joined my pro site, I would love for you to do that. You can join at www.patreon.com/Ohio Valley Weather. Thanks for watching.